Hello and welcome to this special episode of Werewolf. It's obviously a new playlist, like my Call of Cthulhu playlists. I'm doing these slightly different than the World of Darkness ones. I think I'm going to do World of Darkness as its own separate playlist, as opposed to Werewolf and Vampire and so on. Now, I'm only going to be specialising in a couple of them, primarily Werewolf and Vampire. Now, this is the Werewolf the Forsaken book, which I've just got. Well, not long got. I'm a little way into it, and I've begun reading it, and it's very fascinating. Now, I used to love Werewolf the Apocalypse, and I used to love Vampire the Masquerade as RPGs. I felt they were slightly flawed, only slightly, in their game mechanics, which was very good, I have to say, but I felt particularly combat could have done with a little bit of tweaking. So, and I haven't come across that yet in these books here, but this is Werewolf the Forsaken. Now, I can't tell you too much about it. But I've got this little wolf figure here because I'm getting some wolf and werewolf miniatures now for my upcoming RPGs that I'm going to be running in this setting. So, Werewolf the Forsaken, what can I say about it? Well, the apocalypse, as you know, was the plight of the Guru against the worm and their protection of their mother planet Gaia, which it runs through a lot of actual old werewolf lore. If you go back into it and research it, there's a lot of that, particularly with the Native Americans and that kind of thing. But this is a slightly different take on it. This is the Forsaken. Now, this talks about kind of like a utopia that they used to call Pangea, where there was a really powerful wolf called the Father Wolf, and he used to patrol Pangea, guarding it from the spirit world when they used to cross over and come in through the gauntlet, I believe it was called, and he would hunt them down and destroy them and just keep it in check. But gradually over time he became old and infirm, and the werewolves, well, some of the werewolves, I have to say, they did what werewolves are supposed to do, and they slew him, basically. I know that sounds a bit like, that doesn't sound like a good deal to me, but yeah, this is just what I've gathered so far. They slew the Father Wolf, and there were, I think it was 3 tribes of werewolves that didn't want to partake in that because they just didn't believe it. They were happy to let the Father Wolf go about, not doing his job quite as well, and just, let him grow old, and die, and let the spirits run riot, I suppose, basically. But they view the Forsaken as like kind of traitors. They killed their Father Wolf, and so they hate them. And so they're at war with the Forsaken. The Forsaken. If you play Werewolf, from what I can gather, you play a member of the Forsaken. Although I suppose there's nothing to stop you from playing, a werewolf from a pure tribe. But that's aside. So the book itself, let's put this model to one side, because I'm going to be getting more of those. Now, I got this. It's in excellent condition. There's a few scuffed edges, and there's not an awful lot of artwork in here. But it's fairly typical of what you may be used to with Werewolf. Obviously, the moon and the auspices of the moon play a huge part, in this game. Particularly what tribe and powers you have. So what happens is you're born of you have wolf blood in you. Basically, there are certain families that have wolf blood in them, and this here at the start is just a little example of like a gathering of wolves. with the Elder and a few of his pack, I presume, from what I can gather. They're going to find a wolf, or one that's about to go through his first change. Now that can happen, you know, when you're younger or just slightly older, and then they'll indoctrinate you into the way of the wolf and all that kind of stuff. Blah 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 blah. Now, unlike the other game, you can be born as a human, and then your wolf side emerges at a certain point. They will bite you. A wolf, you don't get transformed into a werewolf through a bite, but a bite is needed to kind of awaken you and to kind of let other werewolves know, like get your scent, and they can track you down. And like they do with this guy, they're tracking you down. It's just a little short story about how they hunt this guy down. They got to terrify you then, which, you know, one of them does, but he turns into a really big nasty werewolf and takes them by surprise, I suppose. They weren't expecting that. But yeah, I'm just reading through the lore, what it's all about. I've got a lot more to learn. There's a lot of spirits involved here, spider people and all sorts. And yeah, they just I suppose it's quite a compact looking book, and I'll do another video when I'm a little bit more attuned with the game mechanics, because although I've heard it's quite similar to the original, but it's slightly different. I can show you the character sheet, and I've ordered some character sheets, although I believe you can get them free online, and that's what they look like in these. So similar to the original, just slightly different layout. So again, you've got, instead of having auspice of the moon, you've got like power, finesse, resistance, strength, dexterity, stamina. I think that's the same. You got presence, manipulation, and composure. Oh yeah, you've got auspice there. It is there. Player name, etc. Skills now, academies, computer, crafts, investigate. You know, the usual kind of blocks of skills that you have. And here's I think this may be. I don't know if I can bring that in there. You probably can't see it, but what that says is skills. This is the mental section. So a -3 unskilled. So if you have no dots in that skill, you add a -3. I suppose you're allowed to roll 1 dice and -3 off it. I don't know. I would assume. That's what I'm assuming. So say computers. Say you needed to try to hack into a computer system, for instance, and the difficulty level was 8. And you weren't skilled in computers, so you didn't really know what you were doing. So you roll 1d10 and you'd -3 off of that. So the chances are you're not going to get it, are you? Because even if you rolled a 10, you wouldn't get it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you had 1 dot in it, you could roll 1 dice, but you wouldn't have the -3 deduction. So that's how I presume it works. I mean, obviously I will let you know at a later date if that is the case. So they've got totems and things like the original Werewolf. It's looking like it could be a great game, a cracking game. I want to get into it. I felt the original, the Apocalypse, was a little bit all over the place. It needed condensing a bit, and I think, and I'm hoping, that's what this set of rules has done. I know that I'm extremely late coming into this game, many years in fact, but yeah, you know, it's got a little bit of popularity still, and I'm hoping to keep that alive. And who knows what possibilities I can do in terms of making videos on it. I would dearly like to work out a way of filming my RPG sessions, but I'm giving it a lot of thought. Let's put it that way. and yeah, we'll see. So that's my first little look at Werewolf the Forsaken. So thanks very much for this. I'm going to be doing one on Vampire the Requiem. I already have the book, but that's going to be running in conjunction with Werewolf. I think Werewolf and Vampire work really well together, although in the past I've run games and played games of many different combinations, Werewolf and Wraith, Vampire and Wraith, Vampire and Mage, Mage and Wraith. It's, you know, the possibilities are endless, and I'm hoping they're going to be as combinable as the old ones were. I suspect heavily that they will be. In fact, I think they will be more so, but there we go. That's another. This wolf, by the way, I picked up off of eBay, so he was pre-painted. So I am going to strip him and paint him to my own standards. I quite like the dark colour scheme, but I think I'm going to do my own take on it. So I want all my miniatures to be painted by me, basically. So that's it. That's my first little look at Werewolf the Forsaken. So thanks ever so much for watching. Remember, all brushes lead to war, and bye for now.